Okay, back to the dinim of Shabbos. Okay, so we learned that there's a malacha in the Torah called writing. Because of that, the Chacham said anything that could bring you to writing is forbidden on Shabbos. So we discussed various different things, games that you play or anything, measuring, giving, transactions, all that is forbidden on Shabbos. Another thing which is forbidden on Shabbos is what's called schar Shabbos. It means the earnings that somebody makes money on Shabbos. Even if they're doing something permissible. They're babysitting, they're a waiter, they're a Torah reader, they're the chazan, whatever. They're doing not forbidden things on Shabbos. They're doing permissible things on Shabbos. Nevertheless, you're not allowed to get paid for it. Why? Because then you're making money on Shabbos. That's called business transaction, and therefore it's forbidden. Now, it goes pretty far, okay, whether a Jew or a guy. Now, let's get practical. There's two ways that you're allowed to get paid for Shabbos. Number one, it's called B'havlah. B'havlah means actually it's absorbed together with weekday payments. It's swallowed. It's swallowed together with weekday payments. To give you an example, somebody has an apartment that they rent out. Okay, so you pay $100 for a month, halavai, $100 a month, but 4 days of the month is Shabbos, so you're getting rent for Shabbos, right? So why is that allowed? Because you're not getting paid rent only for Shabbos. You're getting paid for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday also. So Shabbos is absorbed within the whole week, so therefore that would be allowed. Let's say somebody wants to be a waiter on Shabbos. Okay, you want to work, now you're allowed to do a waiter on Shabbos. There's nothing, or babysitter or something like that. So to pay them for the hours of Shabbos, you're not allowed to, because they're getting paid on Shabbos. But if there's any preparatory work that needs to be done, you have to get things, buy things, whatever it is to be this waiter. So then, because you're paying them not only for Shabbos, you're paying them for the work they did on Friday or Thursday, whenever it was. So even though the majority of the payment is for Shabbos, but that's absorbed together with other payment, which is done during the week. So let's say, I'll give you an example. Besides the fact that there's an argument in halacha, but many people permit, what happens if the work that you're doing is a mitzvah? You're blowing shofar, you're the chazan, you're the balkorei, these are all mitzvahs that are being done. So there are opinions in halacha that for a mitzvah you can get paid on Shabbos, because it's not something like business transaction, it's a mitzvah is different. Some opinions in halacha say no, even a mitzvah you can't either. So let's say, I'll give you an example. What do they do with a balkorei? How does a guy that lanes the Torah get paid? So he says that you're getting paid for the preparation. You have to prepare. Right? So you're getting paid for the preparation. Including in the preparation is also Shabbos, but you're not paying them only for Shabbos. The payment of Shabbos is absorbed and swallowed in, so to speak, to the payment that you're paying him for preparation. Or they say the same thing, if somebody has to make a speech. Somebody's giving a lecture on Shabbos and they get paid to make the lecture. Okay? So what is it? Again, it can't be that I'm doing one job during the week and another job on Shabbos, because then it's not bavla, it's two different jobs. If it's the same job, let's say a guy wants to come a guest speaker, and they charge a lot of money to make a lecture, So over there, you're paying them officially for the preparation. They have to prepare. They're not just coming and talking. They have to prepare. So if they're preparing, so then halachically it's not a problem. Because then it's about what? What?
So say someone is getting paid as a professor giving a lecture at a university. They walk there, no microphone.
No pictures. Yeah, right. Okay, so then halachically he had to prepare the lecture. So he's getting paid for the preparing of the lecture. Or you have, let's say, a babysitter. So technically it's a problem with the babysitter because there's no preparation there. You're coming to babysit. Or somebody that does a Shabbos program for kids. So over there it's easier because they have preparation. They have to prepare games or ideas, a story, whatever. They have to prepare something for the kids.
Preparation that was done years ago.
It doesn't matter, but the fact that preparation has to be done doesn't matter when you did it. The preparation has to be done. So you're lucky you had to prepare something. You still have to look it over, There's still things that you have to do. So a babysitter would be a problem. So they say, again, if somebody has expenses and you're paying them for the expenses, in addition to the work they're doing, then it's okay. So let's say, it's a weird case, but the babysitter is going to bring diapers. You're going to bring a diaper. Or they bring before Shabbos, they bring diapers for the baby, let's say, okay? So then you're paying them for the expense that they have to buy the diapers. And then you're paying them for Shabbos absorbed within that expense thing. So that would also be allowed. But there's another way it could be done. And there's another way that it could be done. It's like this. You're not paying them for Shabbos. You tell them, I'm not paying you for Shabbos. But I'm going to give you a gift. But you have to remember, a gift, if I say I'm giving you a gift, you can't demand it from me. Payment you can demand from me. A gift you can't demand from me. So it's obviously, if you're talking about religious people that understand, there's a halacha over here that you can't get paid for Shabbos. So then, then it's okay because, again, they know you're giving them a gift. And you give them a gift. So then it's clearly not payment. I can give somebody a gift after Shabbos, whatever I want. Now, what happens if somebody has a housekeeper that let's say he gets paid on Shabbos? Now, you can't pay the money on Shabbos. So there are opinions on halacha, we don't hold like that. There are opinions on halacha that says you can't pay them on Shabbos. You can't even leave the money out, let's say, in an envelope and say, take the money. We hold that you could, because the guy has to get paid. He's not doing it, whatever, so you're allowed to do it. Some people say you can't pay them until after Shabbos, or Monday, or whatever. You shouldn't pay them on Shabbos. But many poskim hold that if you leave the money, because they're getting paid for what they did. There's nothing to do with, they have to be reimbursed for their money. But again, you have, I'll tell you where there's an interesting question. And this again is the way halacha works. Let's say you have money in the bank and you're getting interest. Okay, now you're getting daily interest. Okay? So now Shabbos comes and you're getting interest. So now you're getting money on Shabbos. Right? But over there, it's also, again, not an issue. Why is it not an issue? Because the bank day is from 12 midnight to 12 midnight. Shabbos begins earlier and ends earlier. So you're getting paid. There's a time, part of the day that's not Shabbos. And you're getting interest, let's say there's 5 hours of no Shabbos between 12 a.m. You know what I mean? Shabbos can come in at 7, but they don't count the day until 12. And then it's over by them 12, but already it's after Shabbos by you. So again, you have it. So now the question is, what happens if you have a 2-day Yom Tiv? Yeah, B'Havlah. So now you have it, what happens if you have a 2-day Yom Tiv? So even then, they write, because then one day Yom Tov is the real Yom Tov. The other day is not the real Yom Tov. So therefore, anyway, whichever day it is, you're getting money b'havlah the other day. The question would be, and that many people are makel, but some people are not, just to show you the scope of halacha, that what happens if it's a 3-day Yom Tov? Or Friday and Shabbos is Yom Tov. Okay, so then the question is, because within that you have 24 hours of Shabbos. But they're right that even then most poskim say it's not an issue because it's still what's called b'havlah, it's absorbed, and there's no issue of that whatsoever. Now, there's another thing you can pay for Shabbos. Let's say I tell a babysitter, you know what, you babysit my kids today, this Shabbos, and I'll babysit your kids next Shabbos. So that's not payment. That's watching. You're watching my kids, I'm watching your kids. It's not payment.
That's bartering.
Huh?
That's bartering. You're bartering.
No. I understand. So bartering, whatever you call it, is allowed because you're not getting paid for the work. I'm not paying you for babysitting. I'm just going to babysit your kids. Guarding kids is not work. So that wouldn't be a problem. Tutoring, let's say. Okay? Can a guy tutor on Shabbos? So if he's tutoring also during the week, and then he tutors also on Shabbos, then again, it's not a problem because he's getting paid b'havlah. Or he prepares tutoring before Shabbos, or he brings, he has expenses of materials that he bought, so then again it would be allowed. restaurants and caterers, even or a mikveh. Like a mikveh, you go to a mikveh, charges for Shabbos. Yeah? Why isn't the mikveh getting money for Shabbos? Mikveh is owned by Jews, right? The institution, whatever it is. So now they're getting paid for somebody using the mikveh on Shabbos. So again, that's not an issue, because the upkeep of a mikveh, you have to wash the towels on Friday, and you have to prepare the mikveh on Friday. So again, it's not only Shabbos, the preparation for the mikveh is being done during part-time during the week also. What?
So if you pay a housekeeper for the weekend Shabbos, it's absorbed. What if the housekeeper comes only on Shabbos?
So then, halachically, it's a problem. But with the goy probably would be easier. Some poskim hold if you're paying a goy, so the Jew is not getting earnings for Shabbos. A Jew is not allowed to get earnings for Shabbos. Is a goy allowed to get paid for Shabbos? What?
No.
Is a goy allowed to get paid for working on Shabbos? Okay, so now I owe him money. Why shouldn't I be able to pay him? I'm not getting money for Shabbos. I'm not getting the money. I'm giving the money. So I can't hand him money on Shabbos, obviously, it's muktzah. But if you leave an envelope for a guy that does work for you, and they're only working on Shabbos, what's the problem? I mean, you have to know what they're allowed to do, what they're not allowed to do. But I'm saying, if they're doing what they're allowed to do and you want to pay them, why shouldn't you be able to pay them?
What about the caterers?
Same thing with caterers. Caterers can charge for meals on Shabbos. Okay? Number one, because they have to cook the food before Shabbos, they have to prepare the food before Shabbos. So they're not only getting paid, when you pay a caterer for a meal, you're not only paying them for the service of the food on Shabbos. They have to prepare the food, cook the food, whatever it is, you're paying them for the whole preparation. So then again, there's some restaurants that are open on Shabbos. Not in LA. In New York, they have a lot of times, people make Shabbat brachas in a restaurant on Shabbos. Miami, there's a lot of frum places. They have they make a Shabbat brachas or a ufruf or a kiddush in a restaurant. Yeah, what? Okay, so there's some. So how do they do it? So again, you're getting paid for the preparation during the week. You're not getting paid for Shabbos only. So then that's not an industry. Same thing with hotels. What?
What does it mean when Torah says your manservant, maidservant, and animal should rest on Shabbos?
First of all, it means that your animals are not allowed to do work that you're not allowed to do. Or your servants, which refers, not Jewish servants by the way, but that refers to non-Jewish servants, because Jewish servants are Jewish. Then you have to keep Shabbos. It refers to non-Jewish servants that you own, you're not allowed to have them do things on Shabbos that you're not allowed to do. You cannot have your cow plow a field on Shabbos. By the way, you can't even lend it out to a guy to plow their field on Shabbos, because you're getting paid for the cows plowing, which you're not allowed to do.
So when you hire a worker for you, like a catering, it doesn't consider your workers, they're working for you?
Yeah, but they're not doing anything which is forbidden on Shabbos.
But they're not resting also, they're working.
I don't rest on Shabbos too much. Working doesn't mean work, it's resting. Work means creativity, the lamites malachas that are forbidden on Shabbos. So a guy can work a lot on Shabbos, but that's not desecrating Shabbos.
So what's wrong with hiring somebody just to work whatever?
Because he is your shliach, he's your agent, and if you're not allowed to do it, then you can't have an agent doing it for you on Shabbos. That's the problem with one of the reasons why you can't tell a guy to do malacha that's forbidden for you on Shabbos. I mean, there's a lot of ways that you hint him, you don't tell him directly. If it's psikresha, it's allowed. There's a lot of books written on Mir al-Akhri.
So housekeepers are not supposed to vacuum your house on Shabbos?
No, they're not allowed to. They wouldn't be allowed to vacuum the house on Shabbos. They can wash dishes.
So it's better to send them home?
No, they can clean the bathrooms. They can go wash your dishes. Now, you're not allowed to wash dishes with a sponge or with hot water, right? Hot water you're cooking, and sponge you're squeezing. But if the housekeeper wants to wash the dishes that you could technically wash it with cold water, right? They're doing it with hot water for their convenience. It's easier for them to wash with hot water and a sponge than to use cold water in their hands. So then they're not doing it for you, then they're using the hot water and the sponge for themselves. So again, that would be allowed. But the act that you're telling them to do has to be a permissible act.
For us, cold water and sponge and soap is okay.
What do you mean for us?
And we want.
Who's the us? Jews?
Can, yeah. For
Goyim?
Can ask the Jews.
You can't use a sponge on Shabbos.
You can.
No, because you're squeezing the liquid out of the sponge.
Just rinse it and put it in.
No, you can wash it with cold water, but not in liquid soap. But you can. By the way, it's interesting. We hold you can use liquid soap on Shabbos. Rav Moshe finds a lot of opinions say you're not allowed to even use liquid soap on Shabbos because you're creating bubbles. But we hold, our poskim hold that you could use liquid soap on Shabbos. But you can wash with cold water and liquid soap. But you can't use a sponge because then you're squeezing liquid. Yeah.
So you cannot take a shower? To use a paper towel and liquid soap?
As long as you don't squeeze water out of the paper towel. In other words, if something spills on the table, this table, yeah, and you want to take paper towel to clean it, you basically have to put paper towel on it. You can't push down because then you're squeezing liquid out of the paper towel, which is chita. So you have to basically, just let it absorb on its own, and then you pick it up and throw it out, whatever.